It's Thursday, February 27th, 2025. This is the second and last workshop, hands-on workshop here live in LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube to come unlocked, to come unleash, whatever you want to call it, whatever word resonates with you for your next 90 days. Let's stay calm. Let's do some self-reflection with some self-compassion. If this is something that you want to do, I'm here. We're going to hear a song and get right into it. I'll see you guys in 1 minute. And in all my workshops that I do, bring a pen and a paper. I don't care if that's a napkin. Bring something to write with. Here we go. It's unlike your 90 days. Last Thursday, we did a vision board activation, like right now. If you wanted to proclaim, if you wanted to reclaim, if you wanted to tell not the world, but tell yourself what's really important and what really matters. We did that with the power of, because everybody calls it goal setting, and I know I put goal setting in here, but it's way more than that. There's power in that pen to paper, and we know that the difference between a dream and a goal is that they're written down. And we talked about the percentage, right, of people who write things down. It's only 3 stinking percent, which is insane. A lot of people will say 20% or maybe 10, but majority will say between 20 and 30%. And we know that we earn 10 times more of those who are not. And that's what the research said. But enough about research. I want to talk about this, and I want to make sure that for those who are joining us, that I get to see them. Okay, cool. So everyone thinks of goal setting as with the target in mind, lose weight, get out of debt, and all these things that you hear over and over, right? Like around December 31st or January 1st. And we forget like the foundation that you see in right in the picture that I'm showing, which is the plan and identity. And we're not talking plan as what's a strategy and all this good stuff. We're talking about what you can do literally in the next 48 hours. What? 48 hours? Um and and it starts when we first write it down. But I'm gonna pass these slides because not yesterday, last week, we wrote things down that a lot of times they just ruminate through in our head. And then what happens? They're just there, right? And when we write them down, we're reclaiming, proclaiming, however you want to call it, um, exactly those those desires, meaning aka, what God has planted in your heart. And those are desires. And I know from background that I come from, or maybe not so much background, but where I was like in the past 20 years, desire had such a it was negative, right? Like desire, we desire what God wants for us, right? Meaning what? No idea, right? Is it go to church on Wednesdays and Sundays and share your faith and do it's that live? That's a desire? That robotic and that I don't know if robotic is the right word, but we were all uniquely created for something. And when last week, we just and if you didn't join, that's okay. Here's the question for you. When you say you want certain things, aka the target on top of the little triangle there, why? Right? And then so it's being more specific about that. It's actually saying, um, hold on, I think I'm not able to see all my screens, but it's asking yourself why. This is how we tap into self-reflecting. Um, and last week also we did some breathing. And when we write it down, when we read it out loud, then when we slow it down, what we write, when we slow it down, we're taking it in. And I hope that we do have anybody who wants to come in with me to this hands on to try this out for the first time, because everybody does vision boards and we talk about it and we strategize and we do all this, and then we all go home and we're like, back to the beginning, we just went to a workshop, it was so amazing, and now back to regular channel. So if you're watching the replay, take that time, do it right now. Like, you wrote down what you wanted, get specific by simply putting I. That's how simple we start. I, right? Um, and here's an example that we're going from buy a new phone. And this is what I did for like high school, but you apply it with whatever target you want and put an I. And then be more specific, right? And then ask, why do you want it? Just go down that layer, put an I, be specific. Okay, a phone, what kind of phone? You could say a house, what kind of house? You could say a job, what kind of job? Um, you get it? So, and and again, what we want to do today, that was from last week, it's where we're even going to go deeper than that. Okay, so you wrote your why, read it out loud, and then ask yourself why. So if you said, I want to lose weight, you started lose weight. And then you said, okay, I'll put in the why. I want to lose weight. Okay. And then you want to be specific. Is it weight, or is it I want to release some inches of my waist? Or I want to heal my tooth? Being specific about me, right? I want to improve my oral health, right? So, because you could say I want health and wellness. Well, could this be specific? Or health, right? I want to remineralize my teeth. Right now, we're getting even more specific, right? I want to clear my gut, right? So I can then have more energy, XYZ, right? And then you go, but why? Well, why do you want more energy? Do you see where we're going with this? So we have those thoughts, and then we just get to ask ourselves why. Why about that, right? Miss Cheryl was here last week. Why a legacy? Why live a legacy? Why honor that legacy? Just a simple why, and we put it into paper till we get more rooted. And by the time you get to a place where you're more clear, and let me see if anybody's here. So if you are here, if you want to give it a try, please jump in. Let me know in the comments. I'm ready to go, and I'll send you the invite. But once we clear, it's what we did last week. It's, we put it into a phrase, we say it out loud, we slow it down, and then we add a breath in with God's planting of the seed or whatever the desires He put in your heart, out with your ego, out with getting on the way. And honestly, it's not a big puzzle or this big strategy or this big anything. It comes down to that clarity. And by the way, if you're in LinkedIn can sometimes the comments do not pop in here. So I just want to make sure that if you are in LinkedIn, yeah, okay. So I pull up my LinkedIn just in case if you're there, if you did, it's like, hey Patty, I want to come in, I want to do this exercise, then please come join me. As a matter of fact, it's just I'd rather use the example with people rather than just give you theory. And I mean, it could help if that's how you want to do it. You want to do it. Hey, you know what? I don't want to go. It's too much. Let me just try by myself. Yeah, it will work by yourself as well. There is that magic of doing this in community, doing this with guidance, and getting to watch someone get clear. So that's the invite, guys, if you are watching, to jump in here as we go through the examples. But as I was saying, when well, Poppy's here. Maybe Poppy wants to join that. Like I said, clarity comes before focus. We think it's losing the weight. We think it's getting out of debt. We think it's, if I could only make $1,000 more, if I could make a six-figure income, if I could write a book, if these goals, and I might forever leave this these terms because unfortunately they have become so saturated. So everyone's talking about goals, and that's not the kind of guidance or coaching, or that's not how I want to spend um my my time with clients. I want to there's such a huge not only connection, not only like satisfaction to see someone get clear on what they want. That's what I and then we get clear, and then you yourself, you unlock, you unleash, you activate. So um and then I may get off these terms too, the smart. They're very helpful. But I find it that a lot of people get stuck or confused or way too much in the planning of this until you have a smart goal. You're not able to move forward. If that's you, let me know in the comments, right? We're just using these as examples, and I'm gonna go right through it because the part where I want to stay is here. um this is the part that's the most the one that I have the most gratitude in, is in being able to help guide someone um to get out of their own story, the story in between the two ears. I was talking to my cousin earlier about how we can take certain words, even if they're being told to us, and we could like live all our lives. Well, my mom said this, and my dad said that, and my sister, my brother, my cousin, whoever, and it was hurtful, right? They dropped something. You made that something huge, and then you live with it for the rest of your life. And that relative has no idea that you are so pissed off and bitter and have not let go of whatever he or she has told you. That you yourself, right, that we have taken to give so much meaning and so much power. And the reason why I love this is because I come across this in every stage of my life. We don't arrive anywhere. We're just able to grab certain stories, excuse me, truth, and lower the inner chatter, the negative inner chatter, right? We get to lower that, and then we get to raise the affirmation, the truth. And we are in such times to raise that. And I'm recently in the space of where it's being told to raise our vibration, to get off the negativity, right? And so it takes you to for you to do that. You don't need to have this conversation with your mama, your papa, whoever you are so bitter with. You get to own the fact that we took that, right? And I want to be sensitive here into certain things that happen, that that has happened to us when we were children, that were completely not our fault. They were completely um things that were we were not at fault, and we were innocent. That word innocent, that word I am innocent, was something that I only got to say to myself as an adult, as I was working through the stories, as I'm unlocking, unleashing, and rewriting my story. And I don't mean as in write stories for people to hear. I think it's okay, or it's good to relate to other people, but sometimes we could just stay in that space for way too long. Sorry guys, my screen went out. And not take ownership of that story, all we do is just share, 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 share. Um, and then the how do I say this? Okay, no one's here, so I might go in a rant here. Is we can spend a lot of time w- creating even a narrative of I was once here. Let me take this out. I was once here and now I'm here. I used to be this and now I'm that. It's like this linear journey, drive. We think we were here and now we're there. And it's our journey is not linear. Um, but we can get stuck in sharing certain stories, or at least I have watched myself have the same story. When I was young, this happened and I was here and now I'm there. When I was a young entrepreneur, like I was here and now I was making this, now I'm making that. I sold this for, like, I had this program and now I have this, or I was responsible for this, and now it's so tempting. And I'm ready to unleash out of that nonsense of talking or of sharing. um so yeah, I hope that that makes sense. And definitely rants are going to be here. And again, if you're in LinkedIn, I am having a hard time. For some reason, StreamYard is not able to connect me here. But I'm going to do my very best to go back and forth between this screen and LinkedIn. So thank you for those who are joining in LinkedIn, or if you're watching the replay. All right, let's get into some things in here that I worked on, which is let's move this here. Bam. Okay, yeah, that's much better. The plan and the identity. So, what I said about plan is once you're clear, you get your own unleashing of what to do. And sometimes, my friends, it's one simple text about, hey, can we meet on Sunday? It's really a conversation, right? Or it's really researching something. It's really a small domino that can create that domino effect, which you know what that is, right? It builds momentum. And I'm not gonna spend that much time on the plan because this is, so I'm gonna just put that out because I already spoke about that. We're not gonna play the video. Let's go right in here. What we're gonna do today, if you're watching the replay, since no one's here today, no one showed up, that's fine. Let's go through some exercises. Okay, since you're here, and that's what we're gonna count in here. So, like I said, hopefully you have a pen and paper, and you want to write or answer this question: what are the qualities needed for this goal? If you don't want to call it goal, for your intention, for the outcome, right, of what you wrote down, right? And remember, we're at this point where we have put an I in there. We have been very specific of what you want. If you and you have asked yourself why you want it, because action dispels overwhelm. So plan, boom. It doesn't work in a workshop if no one's here. The example needs to happen with that person. So we've moved through that, and now we're going through identity. So let's just write that down. What are the qualities that it takes? And I'm going to give an example I did when I did the mindset of entrepreneur for high school students. But of course, your answers, if you're not, maybe you are a high school student, I don't know. But if you so I'm going to use one example, which is here, but I'm going to give you some time. So since you are watching the replay, you could definitely pause me right now. I'm paused. All right, so I'm assuming you have at least 2 to 3 things in mind. And I'm going to share this one right here, which was from one of our students. What are some qualities needed for this goal? And this goal obviously is the new iPhone, right? Example, good at saving money, discipline, good decision maker, administrator of my money, goal setter. Um, Now there's some stuff I should have taken out in here because the way you want to approach this question, it's without you in mind. We're just talking qualities. What are some qualities that are needed, right? So if you want to be an Olympic athlete, what are some qualities of an Olympian, right? Discipline, um, the right coaching, training, you get it, right? So those are the qualities. And the reason why we're doing that and speaking more like in third person, it's to take off a little bit of that pressure because we put so much pressure when we like writing any kind of goals. It's like, oh my God, some people are afraid. Like I have friends who like will run away from me if we were in the same neighborhood and I have a goal setting workshop and I'm walking here and that person's coming. I could see them running to across the street or around the corner and walking around because it's so scary. There's so much pressure that we put in ourselves when we're talking about goals. So let's just write down some qualities of what it could take. And so then what you want to do is it's like rephrase that back to you. So it's who do I get to be? Okay. So you wrote down qualities, and I'm sure they were like 1 or 2 words, like the example I just gave earlier. This person's trying to buy a new phone, and so they want to administer their money. They want to make good decisions, right? If it's you want to be number one in as an athlete or in your field, what does it take, right? There might be like certain certifications or some kind of training. Who knows? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe it really falls down to you showing up and putting in your repetitions. Whatever that is, you wrote it down. So now we get to put it in as who do you get to? If you were here last week or if you watched the replay last week, Miss Cheryl got to say her goals and she took out want and she replaced it with get to. And what she said, when I asked her what is the difference, she said when she said I get to, it was more of an honor. There was lots of gratitude for doing this. So again, I'm definitely disappointed that no one is here because it is so much more powerful when you're able to show with the person. So I will put in my link. So if you have watched this, make sure you throw a comment in a replay, give it a like or something. So I know you have watched this. And if you want to go into a session, I'm going to do it free. This is going to be a complimentary one-on-one 30 minutes based on the information here. So by the time that we do meet, you will have your target very specific. It will have you would have asked yourself why, and then why again. So those are like just like the prerequisites, and then we get absolutely jam out 30 minutes in a session. But the ticket to it is doing that part of the work from part one, which is getting very clear. So because usually what I do this when I give that link out, I do it for people who are like stuck, right? Like they went through my process and they're like, Patty, I'm still lost. Like, what the heck? Okay, that's that link for. So be sure that to go at least through it, to at least have put it down on a piece of paper so we could jam out. Okay, so who do I get to be? I get to save money for the very first time. I get to be disciplined. I get to make better decisions. I get to administer my money and I get to be a goal setter. So, very different, right? Than I should all we do as Americans, in my opinion, is that we should ourselves all over. And what happens with that, the consequences of that starts with an S. It's stress. Who thought I was gonna say something else? Okay. Anyway, let's so what we're doing is that we're going from, and again, once you actually I'm not even gonna share this. The reason why we're doing this, let me put myself back in here, is that we want to go through the process of not just writing things down. And I did say, oop, I almost dropped my water. We're going through the process of being intentional. And yes, it starts with putting that pen to paper. It then goes on to reading it out loud, like I said at the beginning. Then it comes down to slowing it down. Then it comes to add the breath, right? To be clear, maybe when you read it out loud, when you went through this list, that was actually not the calling. And so that's the power of slowing things down. And it's not to be dramatic about it. you know, it's to trust. It's to keep calm right here in the cup that I'm holding. It's to ask yourself that because most of my life, if you know me, I'm a talker, and I've been a talker. Like I could talk 100 miles per hour. Just ask my husband, anybody who's close to me. If you join my Rise and Shine show, you know it. I could talk for a long time, and a lot in my journey, or at least where I am right now. I thought it was my efforts. I thought it was my persistence and my will. Oh, and my passion. And and it really has been in moments. Mm, and those moments, those downloads, or if you want to call it whatever you call it, downloads, God whispering things to you, whatever you say, is that when I was quiet or when I had a call, look left or turn left, look, look up. Oh, click right there, right? When you had those callings, maybe you were called to watch this video. Uh, it's when my life completely has changed upside down. Just like moments. Like if you watch Rice and Shine show, I don't want to repeat the same one, so I'll use a different one. One being I went through this whole process with Jimmy when we first embarked our journey to become real estate investors. And I had it all. I had the vision board, I put it on a frame, I had a 90-day calendar. We were very specific, we were strategic about it, we were focused. We said 3 months, right? And then we got it. I think it was like 3 months and maybe 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And we were like, yes, woo, we're real estate investors. We have a property. Ah, amazing. And we even have a property management team. We don't have to deal with the tenants. What? And when I think about how it got started, or AKA what was that first domino, I'll take this out. That first domino, it's why when I'm in sessions and goal setting sessions, you will see me ask somebody to take out their phone. Um, because that investment property that has graciously supported us for many years happened from me picking up the phone on a snowstorm back in Staten Island. When you got that call, I was like, I, you know, we need a real estate team. That's what the book says. We need a real estate team. We know it's KW. We know we want the property in PA. Who's a real estate agent in PA? I Googled it and I had that call. It was that one. It's like, call that one. Right. That was the download. That was God's whisper. Call that one. That one. Called. And in this snowstormy day in PA, Jersey, and New York, picks up on the phone is Patrick. Hello. And if you know Patrick, you're in KW, you know he's a fireball. And he's the broker, but nobody showed up to the office. Can you believe the odds to this story? I was able to talk to the broker instead of like a real estate agent. That phone call was straight to a broker. I'm like, why are you answering the phone? Like, we just connected. We're like, what are you doing? Why? He's like, nobody was here. And I just went straight to the outcome of the target, and he loved it. I'm like, whoa, okay, you definitely know what you want. Clarity before focus. I was clear to exactly what we wanted, right? And blah, 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 the goal setting session we just had. I want to concentrate on the phone call. Do you understand that it is up to that action, that calling, and I've seen people in my workshops like, yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Mhm. Oh, what time? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm going to do it on the weekend, right? They had the call. I know they had the calling that right there in that moment. It was on that moment. They knew exactly what to do. We know exactly, like when we're quiet or somebody guides through that question, you get that. We got to follow it. Jeez. And I know I've gone into a rant here, and I have the process, and a lot of times, it's like we gotta like keep calm. We gotta trust the process. I don't care if you decide to go with my process, somebody else's process. Processes work. That's why there's so many programs that are 100 money back guaranteed. They're guaranteed. They believe in their process. And we got to listen to that calling. And that calling comes when we're clear. And back again, the plan, 48 hours, what can you do? And obviously if you obviously after a workshop have to go and feed your kids, or like Cheryl, right? Like it was like I think she said it was 11 p.m. her time. That was pretty late. That's someone who really wants to bring that legacy, right? To stay up, right? So I say all that to say that it's trusting. And how do we get that calling? It's when we slow down. It's when we add the breath. And it may sound woo woo. What the heck? What? Just can we strategize? Sure. But what if we're strategizing on the wrong goal? What if this ladder it's in the wrong bookshelf and you're like climbing this ladder, and then you're in the middle of the ladder climbing it up in this big huge library, And you are in mystery books when you really wanted the business section. I don't know. Or maybe you're in a business section and you really want to be in the music department. Are you picking up where I'm dropping off in here? Self reflection. And since no one's here, I'm going to actually wrap it up because this is my product. Um, this is a product that changed my life. This has been in a market or out in Amazon almost 2 years now. No, 3, possibly 3. But before those 3 years, I put my process in a 5-year period trial. And everything that I have in there comes out when I really ask myself, because I asked ChatGPT, and I don't know if I want to stay with ChatGPT because it's very much like what people are saying and goals and no. There was one thing to my journer, what changed, what impact my life was the power of self reflection. And that gets to come out in the repetition, in the affirmations, in the gratitude, in the stopping for 1 second, right? And like I said, if you believe you don't have 15 minutes and now you're watching over how long? 41 minutes. Congratulations. You made time for yourself. We get to create that space to really ask yourself, what do you want? Why do you want it? And you know what to do next. I'm going to play one thing because this is absolutely spankety free for you. It's my audio training that does just that. We're going to play that. And as that plays, it takes about a minute. I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you the link for the Count Leap. But remember, you got to have at least one outcome, one intention written down with I in it. Like the letter I, if the letter I is not in there when we meet, I know you didn't watch it or follow this. Okay. So being specific about that, but this is the auto training. Here we go. Imagine leading a life where you have enough time to do what matters most and the energy to nurture your spark. The outcome of this mini course is to end procrastination, frustration, and feeling stuck. In this mini course, you get to identify what is preventing you from time and energy. You get to crystallize your vision for what matters the most. And you get to activate your first step into the lifestyle you want. Clarity comes before focus. Get your audio mini course now. Grab your headset, your favorite drink, and start today. Speaking of tea, right? It's right there. All right, my friend. So if you're watching the replay, if you stayed to this far in the video, make sure that when you get the link, you tell me that you got it from YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you got it from. And be sure you have your specific outcome, intention, goal, whatever calls you during this season. So be sure to click in there. It's 30 minutes. So if you really want to get into the plan and identity, because identity, limiting beliefs, and all these titles are given by so much out there. We get to unlock them with the power of words and to create space for a guided self-reflection. So you get to step into, as that video said, your spark, what you were created for, your God-given potential. And I know that's another word that a lot of people put out there. And it's because either they're doing it themselves and they're really passionate and they want to help others like the same way I do. Um, that's why we're excited. That's why we want to shout it out from a top of a mountain or top on top of New York City. When I get the mic at Orlando Disney World Universal, right? But I've come to realize that this message is not for everybody. Even in this life, there's been so many people in and out. Like at least I've seen like 3 people watching at the same time, then it went to 1, 0, blah blah blah. You know, the timing, it's that timing, it's that calling, it's those who are listening, and those who want it. And when that comes, it'll be a really, really good session. So I'm excited to see you in the session. Make sure you have it. Drop a comment, give it a like, just so I know, hey, it was this one, and so showed up. I hope to see you in our one-on-one. Like I said, it's complimentary, but the prerequisite it's for you to have been specific. That doesn't mean that you were clear. That's why I'm here. I'm here to guide in that sense, But if you feel stuck, hey, Patty, I done all these little steps. I went to another of your workshops, and guess what? I need more help. Well, I'm here for you. So you put in the work, so we could really jam out for the 30 minutes. Guys, for those who have watched this replay, thank you so much. Let's fly away, and I'll see you, my friend, in the membership. Until next season, next season we'll have more free workshops. I'm in Instagram, I'm in TikTok, and all the social medias. If you can find me at Y Superstars. Thank you, guys.
Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space.